Hello and welcome to Fish Fingers and Custard Explosion Network's after show, where we break down and discuss each and every episode of Doctor Who. Now Disney Plus, trademark pending, TM. My name's Dylan White, and joining me, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here to spread joy at this time of year.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, very funny. Christmas. Oh, yes, Christmas. For a second, I had to nearly correct myself. It is a Christmas special. We're back to them, not
Yes,
New
not New
specials.
Year's.
Which, yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Took a
Jodie
second to get back
Whittaker's
to that, but
doctor hated Christmas. It's
true.
canon.
It's canon. It is very, very true.
It's just part of her doctor.
Hmm.
Didn't want to do anything on Christmas, took the day off. Maybe she didn't hate it, she just wasn't doing anything, so there's no point watching. No point having an episode about what she was doing on Christmas Day, you know what I mean?
Could be true. I'm going to say it's not true. You know? Was actually, I should look this up before, but when was the last Christmas special? Peter Capaldi?
It would have to be.
Was that so she didn't get one at all?
No, didn't we get one last year?
Did we? Was that the thing? I can't remember. And if I did, it's like I don't even.
Yeah, the church on Ruby Road. I'm pretty sure it was the Christmas special last year.
Church on Ruby Road. That was yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, you're right. All right, so this year's or last year's even, so time's a blur. Christmas special was Joy to the World, directed by Alex Pillai, written by Stephen Moffat, old mate. Synopsis was: when Joy opens a secret doorway to the Time Hotel, she discovers danger, dinosaurs, and the Doctor. But a deadly plan is unfolding across the Earth just in time for Christmas. What did you think of the Christmas special?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid episode. You know, it had the timey-wimey stuff. It had, you know, we got to enjoy more shooty Doctor. I don't know about you, but I was reminded of a certain Matt Smith episode with this episode. And how this episode kind of contradicted how he acted in that episode. But again, this is another version of the Doctor, you know, so, you know, I guess differentiating this version of the Doctor to Matt Smith's.
Well, I'll get my biggest pet peeve out of the way.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, if I sound like Reddit, I haven't looked on Reddit or anywhere, but I'm going to presume this is something that people have complained about, to be honest, which is the fact that the whole time he's trapped, and has to wait a year.
Well,
it's like I have no option to wait, right? Because he doesn't have his TARDIS or anything. I'm pretty sure David Tennant is just around the block with the TARDIS.
No, because he's in New York, right? Oh no, it's London.
He's in London. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're not supposed to think about that. And they could explain it and be like, yeah, but like some reason, like they could come up with something. But like that was my first thought. I'm like, you don't have to wait a year. But my other big thing of this is I say all this and then say my favorite part of the episode was the waiting a year.
Yeah. I mean, it was enjoyable, but also it reminded me of the episode of Matt Smith and I think it's the episode The Power of Three with the cubes. You can't stay still for 5 minutes.
Gets bored. Yeah. I thought it was an okay episode, to be honest. I feel like it's the fact that the stuff I enjoyed the most was the 15-minute bit, and the character I thought was the most interesting was the hotel manager lady, and their relationship was better than anything else in this. Is a big sour note, really, because the star of the episode is supposed to be Nicola Coughlan as Joy, and I thought nothing against her, but she was just completely whatever. To the point that the only time she really gets to do anything is when she's being bad, in quotation marks, I guess, and under control of the briefcase. And then by the end of the episode, when she turns into this star and stuff, I felt nothing really. You know, I'm like, that's not. I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think this episode is interesting. Obviously, it's written by Stephen Moffat. I think he had certain goals that he wanted to, or certain things he wanted to bring up and make remarks about. The prominent one is like, fuck the English government during COVID.
Well, yeah.
It's like, yeah, I had to watch my mom die on an iPad. Fucking terrible.
I wonder what that's. Yeah, that. I don't know if that's. I wonder if that's how close to home or anything that is. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that.
It just seems very. I'm sure
a weird thing to bring up.
But yeah.
What, 4 years later?
Yeah, I'm like, we're going back to the COVID like bits. Really? Okay.
Pretty rough.
What do you think of the idea of the big thing at the centerpiece of the episode? And I guess actually, I'd say my other favorite part was just the start of the episode. I mean, you get the doctor going around, just walking in. Was it
ham and cheese toasty and a pumpkin latte?
Ham and cheese toasty and pumpkin latte. To all these random places, and you're like, this is weird. Why is he just jumping around the TARDIS? But then obviously explained later because he goes to this time hotel. The way the episode starts with him in PJs basically just jumping out and getting coffee at a random place. It does seem post Ruby. Like old doctors do, they just begin floating around because they're lost without companions. Just seems like that's what's happening here is he's just jumping around and lands in this random spot.
Had 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah, he was about to walk in with 2 cups of coffee. So that was fun. And I will say that Joel Fry at the start.
How was he not advertised,
He was great. I mean, he usually is. He's very funny in most things he's in. I thought he was very fun. I quite enjoyed the part at the start, him going off, and then once he's introduced to being a secret undercover messenger that he's all aboard the what's happening here. I mean, honestly, just watching him, this reminds me of. He's quite similar roles in a lot of things he does, but it just reminded me of Cruella.
Yes.
So
the bumbling assistant, underling.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that. What'd you make of the hotel itself and the idea of it? I guess because just the idea of being able to rent and jump into random time areas. They try and explain there's some rules within it, but still a weird thing to.
I mean, it's an interesting concept. I don't know how it would actually work practically. You know what I mean? It's like, is it just the one location and then you can jump to any time? Or can somebody go in at the same time?
Yeah.
Can someone reuse the same room?
I think
is that in the same, like, Christmas Day? Like, if someone went back to that room, would it be Christmas Day 2023? You know what I mean?
This is the thing, right? So if the door opens to the same time zone and time place every time, someone enters the door and then someone later.
Wouldn't they see other people who have already been in the hotel room?
That's if you view time as a straight line. I guess this is going under the multiverse idea. I don't know.
I guess so.
Every time someone enters the door, it's a new.
They're creating like a new timeline,
basically, which I'm fine with. And as much as I'm sure some people hate it, I also didn't mind the explanation of how the Doctor got the code, which is just timey-wimey.
It's just because time. It was a time loop, time trap thing.
Yeah, which I'm fine with.
He never actually figured it out. It just worked out.
Yeah, it's like the thought of having to figure it out, and then the fact that there's a loop. I don't know. Yeah, it's just it happens. Well, the universe gives something like that, I guess, and I have no problem with that. I don't need everything over-explained or even explained.
Well, I mean, there could be a universe in which he started the loop and took several tries to figure it out, and then the loop continued.
Then that loop fizzles out, the one which he didn't succeed, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, running off the idea of like multiple timelines.
Yes, you could have.
So there are timelines where the Doctor just fails hundreds, thousands of times, and Joy dies.
Yes.
Until he figures out the code.
And
that begins a loop.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, it's best not to delve too deep. As the Doctor says.
What do you think of the dinosaur?
Pretty solid dinosaur.
Like
although then again, how That was like 100 something BC, 100,000 million years BC.
Before you
Who
ask
built
it,
that house and built that door?
I assume the hotel did build. There's an opening because you can't. Not everything's a literal door because don't forget one's a tent, right?
That's true.
So I presume there's just a hole in a tree or something
Initially,
and they built the hut thing. Is how that's how I made it work in my head anyway.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what, that looks all right.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't think looked all right. Money. Yeah. The only thing that didn't look not bad, just it looked okay, was the train thing. I thought very just very flat green screeny sort of moment, especially when he's like, whoa, on the top, you know. So, yeah, I think it was perfectly okay as far as a Christmas special goes, and Christmas specials are just mostly meant to be a bit of fun, nothing too deep. I guess the problem over the years was the more and more that the Christmas specials became elements of like setting up or relying too heavily on setting up the coming season or finishing off plot elements from previous seasons and all these other things. They weren't episodes that people could just turn on if they haven't watched Doctor Who in a while and just enjoy a Doctor Who special or episode by itself without the connections and having to understand references and stuff like that. So I thought that was fine. I guess the only thing in here that might be coming back would maybe the company that did the case.
Yes, Villengard. So they're the company who are behind the war, the weapons in the war in the episode Boom.
Oh, there you go. That makes sense. I never looked into that. So
yes, so I suspected it might be the case because Ncuti said, "Oh, I'm familiar with them." You know,
yeah, okay.
So this massive corporate entity that's trying to make corporate decisions, despite how it could affect everybody else. You know,
galaxy.
The galaxy or human life or whatever.
Okay. Do you reckon? So do you reckon that's just do you reckon that'll be like a bigger story, or do you reckon that's just a thing that Stephen Moffat's just going to write into his episodes and make it a continuing thing?
No, I didn't even put that thread together. Potentially, you know, like it could be a big bad down the line. You know, this company going after the Doctor because he's foiling all their corporate plans and stopping them making lots and lots of money. You know.
Yeah.
That seems like a theme that the Doctor would tackle or Doctor Who would tackle.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Anything else from the special?
Can't believe she turned into the North Star at the birth of Jesus.
That was a weird, random cut. I mean, I'm like, I get it's a Christmas episode, but for a show that's obviously not very Christian. Yeah, just like ending it on that note, I was like, okay. What the audience exactly we're going for here, but
I mean, it's historically accurate. A child called Jesus was born that day.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I won't question it. Alrighty, thank you for joining us on this discussion of Joy to the World. Of course, Doctor Who will be back later in the year. I don't know if they've put a date on it. I don't think so.
I don't think so. Not from what I saw on Wikipedia or whatever.
I would presume mid year, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was guess around June or something like that. And guessing amongst that, I'll also guess we'll be back to discuss more Doctor Who around June or something, if that's when it returns. Discuss the next season 2, or season
15,
20 or 15. Well, depending on how you,
depending on whether you want to go with the current numbering.
Yep. Disney
I will say, Disney Plus need to fix up the titling for these episodes.
Why?
Because it was called Special Number 5.
No, it's Special Number 1, technically, isn't it? Or 2?
No, because they did
3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah, true. They came out the 3. Yeah, okay.
They're the 3 with David Tennant, and then they had The Church with Ruby Rose, and then this one's number 5.
Yeah, so it is number 5, I guess. Yeah, true.
Just call it the 2024 Christmas special.
Yeah, or just call it Joy to the World. That's fine. Yeah, thank you for joining us. See you around. Also, this is the first podcast we're recording for 2025. So there you go. Have that in the books. But of course, we're back in the books now. Check us all out, explosion.com. Check out all the podcasts and fun things that are coming up in the year ahead. I traveled ahead in my TARDIS, so it was a good time.
Oh, thank God.
Goodbye.